Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Learn Mathematics. This is your maths teacher Rekha Chabra. Students, I hope you must be liking my videos and must be learning a lot of things from these videos. So please don't forget to like, share and subscribe on YouTube and don't forget to post a comment after watching the complete video. We were doing chapter number 5, continuity and differentiability. So in today's lecture, let's understand the concept of differentiability and then we will discuss few questions of exercise 5.2. What is the meaning of derivative? The derivative is a measure of how a function changes as its input changes. A derivative can be thought of as how much one quantity is changing in response to changes in some other quantity. Here is one formula that you have already done in class 11th. F dash x is equal to limit h tends to 0 f of x plus h minus fx upon h wherever the limit exists. This is defined to be the derivative of f. The derivative of f is denoted by f dash x d by dx of fx or dy by dx or y dash. And the process of finding derivative is called differentiation. Then we have algebra of derivatives. Here we can see three rules. U plus minus v whole dash is equal to u dash plus minus v dash. Dash means derivative. uv whole dash is equal to u dash v plus uv dash. We call it as Leibniz or product rule. U by v whole dash is equal to u dash v minus uv dash upon v square. This is known as quotient rule. Then we have derivative of few certain functions. Fx, let it be x raised to the power n. So f dash x means derivative of that function will be nx power n minus 1. This power will come in front and it will be reduced by 1. What is the geometric meaning of derivative? Student, let's say we have this graph and we want to find the derivative at this point. So what we have to do, basically we have to draw a tangent at this point and the slope of this tangent tells us the derivative at this point. Here is the table of derivatives of trigonometric functions that you should know. So students, you have to learn this table. Theorem: if a function f is differentiable at a point C, then it is also continuous at that point. And there is one corollary: every differentiable function is definitely continuous. Now let's see this theorem. If a function is differentiable at a point C, then it is also continuous at that point. Since f is differentiable at C, limit x tends to c fx minus fc upon x minus c is equal to f dash c. Now if x is not equal to c, so this thing fx minus fc can be written like this. We are multiplying and dividing with x minus c, taking limit to both sides, then opening the bracket and taking their separate limit. If we apply the limit here, c minus c will be 0, so right hand side will be completely 0. And on the left hand side, we will be having limit x tends to c fx minus fc, because here this is independent of x. This thing is equal to limit x tends to c fx equal to fc. And when this happens, this is only happens when we have a continuous function. Now look at this graph of mod x, students. Converse of this theorem is definitely not true, because as per the definition, when we can draw a curve or a graph without lifting our pen or pencil, we call it as continuous graph. So here we can draw the graph without lifting our pen or pencil, right? So it means this function is continuous, but this is definitely not differentiable at x equal to 0, because when a function is continuous, when we can draw it without lifting our pen or pencil, and when a function is differentiable, when we can draw a tangent at that point. But here we cannot draw a tangent, so it means this function is not differentiable. So students, when a function is differentiable, then definitely it is continuous. When a function is continuous, it does not mean it is differentiable every time. Example is there in front of you. And if a function is discontinuous, then definitely it is not differentiable at all. What is chain rule? Student, if we have a function like dv by dx we want to find, So we can find it as dv by dt into dt by dx, or chain can be quite long. Let's understand with the help of one example. Function is sin x square. Here we have composition of two functions. So student, how can we find the derivative? We can find the derivative by using chain rule. First of all, find the derivative of sine with respect to x square. Then find the derivative of x square with respect to x. So what is the derivative of sine function? Sine x, that is cos x, whatever x is. Then after that, what is the derivative of x square? That is 2x, because power comes in front and then the power reduced by 1. So 2x. So the final answer is this. If we have a function like 2x plus 1 whole cube, so what we can do, students, we know the formula of a plus b whole cube, right? We can open it and then we can find the derivative of each and every term. Or otherwise, this thing can be written as the composition of two functions, right? And then we can apply the chain rule and we can find the derivative. Here the power was only 3, so we open the bracket. But what if we have power 100, we have power 50? So this will not be feasible to apply binomial theorem every time. So it means chain rule works best in this case. Let's discuss few questions of exercise 5.2. First question, sine x square plus 5. Again composition. So first of all, let's find the derivative of sine with respect to x square plus 5. Then let's find the derivative of x square plus 5 with respect to x. So sine x. Let's consider this thing as x. Sine x. What is the derivative? Cos x. And then x square is 2x and 5 is constant, so it is 0. We don't have to write anything. This is the final answer. Now cos of sin x. Again composition, let's apply the chain rule. First of all, let's find the derivative of this function with respect to sin x. Then the derivative of sin x with respect to x. And this is the answer. Question number 3 here, sine of ax plus b. Find the derivative of sine function with respect to ax plus b. Then find the derivative of ax plus b with respect to x. So sine x is cos x. Ax, a, b is constant, so plus 0. Fourth question, sec of tan of root x. Here we have composition of three functions. So first of all, find the derivative of sec this thing. Let's consider as x. Sec x with respect to this tan root x. Then in the next step, next term, what will we write? We will write this thing tan root x, and let's take the derivative with respect to root x. Then let's find the derivative of root x with respect to x. So what is sec x? What is the derivative? Sec x tan x. Then into tan x. What is the derivative? Sec square x. Then root x. What is the derivative? 1 upon 2 root x. Sixth question, d by dx of cos x cube sine square of x power 5. Let's consider it as first function, this as second function. Let's apply the product rule. Second function as it is, derivative of first, plus first as it is, derivative of second. So first as it is and derivative of this cos x cube. So first of all, cos function. What will be the derivative? Minus sine x. Then x cube. What is the derivative? 3x square. Plus cos x cube as it is. Now the derivative of this thing. First of all, let's find the derivative of this square. Sine square x. So it will be 2 sine x power 5. Because this power 2 will come in front and power will be reduced by 1. 2 minus 1, 1. Then let's take the derivative of sine function, sine x. So it is cos x. Then let's find the derivative of x power 5. So it is 5x power 4. We are applying chain rule here after that. Question number 7 also same way and 8 also same way. Easy questions. You can pause the video and you can note down if you have any confusion. Otherwise, please try yourself. Ninth question, fx equal to mod of x minus 1 where x belongs to R is not differentiable at x equal to 1. First of all, if we draw the graph, it will be somewhat like this. Now we know this formula f dash x is equal to limit x tends to c, fx minus fc upon x minus c. Or else if we apply the limit h tends to 0, so it will be fx plus h minus fx upon h. Let's find left hand derivative. Left hand derivative will be, we have to talk about 1, right? So limit x tends to 1 minus fx minus f1 upon x minus 1, because what is c here? C is 1 here. So now let's put the function fx. What is fx? Mod of x minus 1 minus what is f1? 1 minus 1, 0 upon x minus 1. So x minus 1. Now let's change the limit. H tends to 0. So it means what is x? 1 minus h, right? 1 minus what minus? H minus. 1 minus h. So 1 minus h minus 1 upon 1 minus h minus 1. So 1 and 1 cancel, mod of minus h is equal to h, and in the denominator minus h. So it is minus 1. Now right hand derivative, limit x tends to 1 plus. Same way, now we will replace with 1 plus h, and we are getting 1. Left hand derivative is not equal to right hand derivative. It means the given function is not differentiable at x equal to 1. Or otherwise, if you look at the graph, student, here at x equal to 1, how can we draw the tangent? And please always keep in mind that function is not differentiable at any sharp point, right? This is a corner sharp point, so it is definitely not differentiable here. Now let's come to question number 10, greatest integer function. We have to show that it is not differentiable at x equal to 1 and 2. So left hand derivative, same way we'll apply the value in this formula. Fx, what is fx? Greatest integer function x minus what is f1? What is the value of greatest integer 1? That is 1 only upon x minus 1. Now let's change the limit to h tends to 0. X 1 minus h minus 1 upon 1 minus h minus 1. So if we subtract any small thing from 1, so what will be the value of this greatest integer? Will be 0. Minus 1 upon minus h. 1 upon h is equal to infinity, right? Because h is tending to 0. So it is infinity. It is not defined. So here we don't have to calculate right hand derivative. Now here let's talk about, we have to find the differentiability. We have to talk about differentiability at 2 also. So let's find left hand derivative again at 2. Same way, 2 minus h will give us 1 minus 2 upon minus h. So it is minus 1 upon minus h, which is 1 upon h, again infinity, not defined. So there is no need to find right hand derivative. And if you look at the graph, students, we know very well that at all the integral values, this function is discontinue. It is not continuous, so definitely it is not differentiable. So I hope, students, you must have understood that how to find derivative of composite functions. Now please try rest of the questions of this exercise 5.2 yourself. Thank you very much.